Hello and welcome back to the second instructional video. My name is Marcus, I'm a drum tutor. My method is called Talking About Drums. And we are going to continue the subject of single stroke roll, but this time I'm going to show you how to turn it into a groove, because the idea of talking about drums is obviously to combine the headline subjects of technique, rhythm and independence. So this is an example how you take a single stroke roll into a groove. Basically, you're playing a single stroke roll on your snare as we've done in the previous volume, and all you need to do now to begin with is to take your right hand into your hi-hat. I'm going to do that. Here we go. The movement doesn't change. Let me explain the one thing. It determines whether you are a right-handed drummer or a left-handed drummer, which of your hands actually plays the hi-hat. Now, I'm actually a left-handed drummer. If you look at it from the perspective from a single stroke roll, it would mean to start the single stroke roll with your left hand, from my perspective, but the actual rudimental motion is started with the right hand. You find all rudimental motions start with the right hand. You should turn them around anyway. We will talk about this in a little while. Now we focus on a single stroke roll in a groove. Now that grooves, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Here we go. We are still counting the same way. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. I give you the quarters in the bass drum. 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. As you realize, I'm not playing any accents yet. I'm now going to accompany my bass drum with an accent on my hi-hat. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are counting whilst we do this. So we know where is our 2 and where is our 4. So on the 2 and the 4, we're going to try and bring the right hand onto the snare drum. Nice punch. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That sounds pretty alright. Now, when we're talking about grooves, we are talking about 16th notes grooves. So my left hand is actually turning this into a 16th note groove because it plays the E and the A. If I take the left hand out, that's slightly boring, so we keep going. I bring the left hand over to the hi-hat for a moment. Yes, that's now officially a groove. And it is a 16th note groove because a 16th note groove is defined by the smallest note that you use in a groove. Okay, I'm gonna bring my left hand back on the snare drum, my right hand keeps going. I go back to the normal single stroke roll, my bass drum keeps going. Right. Whilst you do this, please note you've just played the first groove in your life. Many congratulations, welcome in the club. Page 2, the 12 16th note figures. Have a look at this. Actually, in terms of groove, have a look at the second group, which is group 6 to 10. If you look at the first movement, it's the 1 and the E. 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 E. Bring your left hand to the hi-hat and try to emphasize them. Like that. We're starting to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are trying to bring our hand, our right hand, back to the snare drum on the 2 and on the 4. 4, 1. And we go back and relax. Movement number 7. E end is emphasized. We bring the left hand to the hi-hat. Okay, this is an example, 1 or 2 or 3 examples. You can play that with every movement as long as you focus on the accents. The accents are going to make this. It's not a groove. This is a movement. It turns into a groove when you apply a 2 and a 4 to begin with, and when you apply the accents. All right. Now, most importantly, if you take that particular motion and forget your bass drum for the moment, You're having a single stroke roll in your hands and you want the 2 and the 4. So we go back to these basics. And that sounds pretty alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at these 16th note figures and add them in the bass drum. Now I need you to be careful about this, because this turns into a coordinational exercise very swiftly. You have to be possibly a little bit slower about it, okay? We're looking at the very first motion. It looks easy on paper, it's not too easy to play, so please take your time. Okay? Don't want to go through every single figure because that would bore you and me, but I just pick a few out. Let's say movement number 3. Okay, if you look at movement number 3, you've got the E missing, and if you turn this into a groove, it is perfectly legitimate to forget the 2 and the 4 in the bass drum. In the moment it's... forget that. Play the 2 on the snare and don't play it in the bass drum. Okay? Okay. We're looking into the next group, 6 to 10, which makes it a little more interesting. Here we go. And it allows us also to speed that up a bit, so it's not too boring, really. Okay. We do exactly what we've just done. We forget the 2 and the 4 in the bass drum. Here we go. Okay? Please take your time when you practice this. It's very important to take your time in this. Very important. Ultimately, what you want to do is you want to combine that. As an example, let's stay with the second group, 6 to 10. Here we go. Okay? This is the combination of it all. Go back to the quarters in your bass drum and try to achieve accents, and try to achieve them by moving your left hand and simply, God, am I going to say don't have a plan? No, just play what you feel, but stick to the rules, don't change, it's always a single stroke roll. Okay, this lives and dies with accents. If you keep going like this, get your mind very, very slowly around to the fact that you want to do in your bass drum something apart from quarters. Maybe you start with 8th. Stick to the 2 and on the 4. Okay. Okay. Single stroke roll in your hands, any of these figures in your bass drum, any of these figures turned into accents within your hands. There you go, there's your groove. Enjoy, practice, it's been a great pleasure, have a good day. Thank you, bye.